I feel like Marvel's done.
I literally think that Ant-Man and Quantumania are the same thing.
They are.
And also The Flash, and also that other thing with like Zachary Levi.
The same movie?
Shazam, Flash, and Ant-Man in my brain are the exact same thing. I have absolutely no idea like what the difference is between any of them.
The movie or the characters?
The movies, the character, like any of it. Ant-Man, Flash, and Shazam are the exact same thing to me.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Ant-Man should. I understand Shazam and the Flash because they're both lightning bolts. What does Ant-Man have to do with?
It's just like, isn't it also like, isn't he red? Like his suit's red.
His suit's red.
And it's like a random, like, what the fuck is he doing? Is he an ant? You know, it's like, I don't know what any of their powers are. Like, I'm guessing the Flash is fast. Shazam also sounds fast, so I don't know kind of where their differences lie.
Shazam and the Flash, I totally understand. I think Ant-Man is, he gets small. That's like
all the actors for all those roles like seem the same too. Like Zachary Levi looks like
Paul Rudd. Okay,
Paul Rudd, Ezra Miller canceled.
Ezra Miller, I feel like okay, in all these three scenarios, there's always an odd one out that I'm like, okay.
And it's like they're all but the different ones, you know? So it's like in my head, these three are the same.
I feel like, okay.
And I literally, that's fact that those are the same. Like, if you're a hot girl who doesn't watch Marvel, like, you think those three things are the same.
So you didn't watch Marvel, you haven't watched Marvel?
No, like, I watched the, like, Black Panther series because that, to me, actually has somewhat of a story that it's telling that is interesting. And I do like Spider-Man. Is that Marvel? Spider-Man's fun and cute, and I like that one. Batman is DC, I think. That's different than Marvel, but it's fun too. I like Catwoman. And that's pretty. I watched Iron Man like when I was a kid and liked that one.
Yeah, that's real as fuck.
It's a good one.
That's real as fuck. No, I think you're very valid in thinking that Shazam and the Flash are the same thing. They're both lightning bolts. That is a very.
And they're both Marvel?
No, they're both DC.
Oh.
But they're both lightning bolts. Both wear red and yellow.
And they're fast.
No, the Flash is the Flash is fast. Shazam is Superman-esque, but he's a child.
But he Shazams into an adult.
He Shazams into an adult. So
wait, are you kidding?
No. Yeah, so he'll like jump off a cliff and be like Shazam, and then he'll turn into a superhero. It's lit. It's lit. It's one of my favorite. I don't like Shazam the character, but that's one of my favorite. Like, I'm a huge superhero person.
It's meant to be sarcastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's dope. Okay. It's really funny. Like
that's good.
I think the first Shazam was really funny. I don't know about the second one, but the first Shazam is really funny. And like his supervillain is Black Adam, which is The Rock now.
Yeah.
And that movie was apparently not good. But in the comics, it's very funny because it's literally just like reverse. It's just he wears all black, also has a lightning bolt. And that's it. Like, that's the only, and they have the exact same power, but except he doesn't become a kid. Black Adam is just always like that. Shazam is a literal child, like a 12-year-old boy who like falls into a cave or something, and then like meets this guy who gives him these powers, and then he becomes Shazam. And then there's other people like him. There's other kids like him. Oh. So it's like a vibe.
They're so like Shazams.
Yeah.
Why do you think Marvel's dying though?
Marvel's dying because
of shit like this. Because I don't know Ant-Man from Shazam from Flash.
I was actually literally
and I thought they were all Marvel.
I was literally gonna say that's probably the reason. I think at this point, because I think it really should have ended after Endgame. Now, WandaVision I think was the best show.
Oh, I didn't watch that, but that looked good.
Oh, you didn't watch it? Oh, I guess it wouldn't have.
None of it makes sense.
Yeah,
to
no,
me.
That's legit.
I watched one episode. I was like, I don't get this.
Most definitely, Endgame was the movie.
Okay, yeah, and that seemed like the end.
Yeah, I really do think it should have been. We're reaching the point now where, because, you know, all of these are based off of comics that have been here since like the 1960s. And there's a thing about like the Flash not being able to be a video game character because at this point in time, he's so powerful that it wouldn't make sense to ever have him as a video game because he's so fast that he can now travel through time. He can technically has Mr. Fantastic power. He can stretch himself at like any rate because he moves so fast. He's essentially all powerful. So it's like it's impossible to play him like in a game because he's all powerful. But it's because of the fact that at first he was just a superhero who ran really fast. But throughout the 1960s, at some like 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, you keep doing the same thing over and over. Eventually you have to add multiverses. All these same people all doing like same but very different things. Villains all doing the same but kind of different things. Then eventually you go into space and all this other shit. And at this point, people who aren't really into it are doing the same thing that you're doing, which is like, I don't know what the fuck none of that means. I just thought the dude was supposed to run fast because he's called the Flash.
Right.
I think that's what we're approaching with Marvel movies as well, is that we're getting to a point now after Endgame. At first it was Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, Thor, all these people. We get it. They're superheroes. They have powers. They save the earth. Now we're getting into Miss Marvel, saving the galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy, all up in space, multiverse theory, all of this extra stuff that's like the audience, it's going to take a lot for them to be able to get it. So it has to be really good quality. And the movies and the shows just aren't there anymore because there's so many of them and they're doing it constantly over and over again. There's a lot of hate for She-Hulk that came from misogyny, but ultimately the rest of the shows, other than I would say WandaVision, which I think was pretty groundbreaking, Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, She-Hulk,
Morbius
is
that part of Marvel?
No. I mean, yes, technically, but it's part of the Sony universe, not the MCU.
Oh, so that's Spider-Man.
That was Spider-Man, but now Spider-Man is in the MCU too.
Oh, wait. Sony is its own universe?
Sony's its own universe. So for the longest time, Spider-Man wasn't in the Marvel universe because it was owned by Sony.
Yeah.
But then Disney acquired Marvel. So but Sony still owned the rights to Spider-Man.
This is the most insane.
This is what I'm saying. People aren't following this for much longer, especially if the movies aren't very high quality. And Ant-Man Quantumania came out and people are saying it's mid and that it looks very weird. The CGI is also getting really, really bad because they're overworking their VFX producers because they're trying to turn over all of these different projects that require so much CGI and VFX that they have to do it so quickly. They're crunching their time, not paying them enough money, so it looks like shit. So it's all of these super complex ideas. The reason why comics have worked for so long is they can delve into all these different stories because they're still very high quality. So it's still going to continue to draw an audience. But if the movie is shit, I'm not spending 3 hours in a movie learning about a universe that you didn't even choose to flesh out on your own.
Right.
Like this doesn't make any sense anymore. I had Marvel burnout after WandaVision where I like stopped watching it, and I tried to watch Captain America and Winter Soldier. It was okay. And then Loki, I didn't care. She-Hulk, I didn't care. Miss Marvel, I didn't care. I forgot that Miss Marvel even got released, and I was really excited because I love that character. And I'm like a comic book guy, and I'm like at the point where I'm like,
Marvel burnout.
This is too much.
That's
this
real
is too
as
much
fuck.
because it's high quality anymore. At one point in time, it really was like Endgame. Endgame was like the Super Bowl. Was like my Super Bowl. When I went to go see fucking Endgame, man, I was lit in that shit. I was standing up, clapping, and so was everyone in the theater.
If I knew all the lore, I'm sure that would have been an incredible experience.
Crazy. It was unlike literally. They brought back all of the shit, and they just did it so well. Infinity War was one of the most hard. I remember I saw that shit in college, and Infinity War is like the first part of Endgame. Wow. And that was when they lose, and that's the first time you really see them really fail. And there wasn't another movie coming out for a year, so it was like. We all went home. I remember seeing it with my friends. We all went home. We were like, what the fuck do we do? I can't believe they just lost. And that was the end of it. Like, it was so unexpected. Damn. And Endgame just brought back all of that hype in such the best way. But since then, it's like, I think it's done. I don't think that hype ever returns for a movie. I think that only works for comics. I really do think it only works for comics in terms of all these worlds and all these different universes and multiverses and all that stuff. It would have worked if they continued to be high quality. But at the end of the day, Disney's a company. The Marvel's a company. They're all going to choose the decisions that make them the most money.
Or that they think will.
You know? And at some point, the artistry's kind of gone. So that's why I think Marvel's kind of done.
How about DC, though?
DC has never made good... I love DC more than Marvel. But DC keeps fucking flopping on all of their damn movies, and it sucks. Because The Flash is my favorite superhero ever of all time. Above Spider-Man, The Flash is my guy. It's The Flash and then Spider-Man. So I've been waiting for this Flash movie forever. And then DC canceled all of their movies. And then Ezra Miller, of course, they are wild. They
are a criminal.
Yeah, they committing various treasonous acts of crime across the entire world. So I was assuming that the Flash movie was going to get canceled as well, or at least that they would get recast. The movie is going on. Unfortunately, the movie does look good too. So I'm like, okay, what exactly is the vibe here? But I'm almost positive the fallout from that is going to end up being that they misuse and mishandle the Flash, and then eventually gets canceled as well. Which luckily I have the Flash show, so it's fine. But I think DC at some point could, if there's
more hope, because there's still a lot of characters that they haven't made like movies about. You know what I mean?
For sure. DC hasn't touched their roster at all.
Like,
Marvel's starting to dig
kind of
deep
help.
now.
Yeah, that's helpful. Because I mean, me and Zoe always talk about like one of my dream roles would be if they made a movie about the Joker's daughter, Dula Dent. I would love to be her. That would be like a dream. And they like Poison Ivy. You know, there's so many like kind of the villainous ones.
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't. They just need to like make a good movie.
Yeah, we're getting there. The Joker universe is close. Lady Gaga is going to be in the new Joker, which is going to be a musical, which is going to be funny. That shit is going to be funny. I actually think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be really good because the Joker movie, I haven't seen the Joker movie.
What?
But I haven't seen the Joker movie. I'm not really interested in the Joker or Batman. So that was where I came from as like a moviegoer. I was like, I don't really care about this character. But the movie I heard was good. So I'm like, okay, I need to watch. I need to get over my dislike for the Joker. And just the Batman universe in general. But and it's not that I dislike the Batman universe. I just never really cared about it that much. But the new one is they're doing new styles. They're having the musical, that type of vibe.
I feel like it lends itself for more artistry than Marvel does.
Yeah, exactly.
They just need to use it well. And I hope they do, because I think the DC universe is more interesting, personally.
I also think that the DC universe is more interesting than Marvel.
I don't know shit about Marvel, so it just seems like Marvel just seems like so like American. Like, I don't know. And I know because they've got Captain America, whatever. But also like the actors that they use, it's just like
very mainstream.
I know that they're getting canceled on both sides.
Yeah.
But something about Marvel.
I would agree with you. I feel what you're saying. Marvel definitely feels more down home, and DC feels like superheroes.
DC, because all the DC movies that I've watched, like the Joker and the Batman, whatever, like they're all like social commentaries on like how society's fucked up. And I feel like the plot of like every Marvel movie kind of ties back to like nationalism and like
it does. Yeah, they have a lot of military propaganda.
So it's like
they have a lot of military propaganda.
I don't really care.
Which is what the entirety of Captain America and the Winter Soldier was, kinda. I mean, and they kind of touched on racism a little bit, but really not enough. They touched on racism very Americanly.
Right.
Which was like, yeah, we know it's kind of weird for him to be Captain America because he's black, considering like what that represents. But then he just kind of does it, and then that's kind of the end.
So.
And there was a really funny moment where Bucky Sebastian Stan is like, truthfully, I didn't really consider what it means for you to take the shield as a black man in America. I'm like, Bucky is from the 1950s.
I bet you didn't, Sebastian Stan. Like, what do you mean by that? Answer quickly. What do you mean?
That shit was so jokey. I mean, like, I guess hypothetically he could have learned in the time that he lived, but I don't know. Chronologically, that don't make sense either, because he was in, I mean, you know what? Actually, that is fair. He was in Wakanda, technically, so maybe he learned some shit.
When you're in Wakanda, you learn some shit.
When you're in Wakanda, you learn a lot.
You're going to come out a different person.
You learn a lot of stuff. Okay.
Wow. Incredible work from the Peanut Gallery.
Yes, amazing. What another great month of news. All right.
Anyway, that was another episode.
We'll catch y'all next week with a non-Baroque news show.
Yeah, the news isn't going to be Baroquing.
The news is going to be Baroquing.
Yeah,
you know when it will be Baroque again? Next month.
Next month.
At the end.
At the end of it. There's a lot of episodes in between now and then, though.
3.
I'm your host, Isaiah.
And I'm Maria Small.
And this is Baroque Girls.
Baroquing News signing off.